Okay guys, we're down at the storage unit. We got some cars out. Yeah, I think that's the first time they've been together since the letter. Neither one has been cleaned in a while. All good. All good. So that's the height difference stock to where I did it. In case you wonder, even though it's a different front end. So here's what you don't know. The Wagon's 3 inches smaller, shorter. Let's see if we lined them up. I don't know if I did or didn't. Everybody always thinks Wagon long. Okay. Well, the Wagon's sticking out in the front. I'm supposed to do a comparison video. Give you guys a Rambler education. Well, look at that. That isn't how much is sticking out in front. That's a huge difference. I've always assumed Wagon longer. Nope. Wagon shorter. Okay. 64 and 65 body style. 67 to 69, 66 had different taillights. Okay, and 68 is the first year of that roof line. Oops, I think I'm out of focus. 67 and older has this roof line right here. Unless it's a Wagon, then they never changed it. It's like an El Camino. Okay, well, the bumpers are different, but yet they're the same. No reverse lights in 64. It was an option. Then you got that bumper. In 65, it came with that bumper regardless. It had block-off lights. The Sedan has the fuel filler in the back. Wagon has it on the side. Where else are they going to put it? Okay. Obviously, the emblems are in the back of this car. And yeah, they're on the Fender. This is the first of this body style. Okay, in the American, that's the last of this body style in the American. 69 is a Rambler. Didn't say American on it at all. Okay, quarter panel's totally different. There's a mint one of these on eBay right now at a place that does not have this body line. That's the first thing you look for. Because it's subtle, and they don't make reproduction anything, so people just make a quarter panel. They take it right out of it. Was absolutely positive we don't fill with that. Okay, the Cove is how it started. Pretty much the same thing, but the difference is when it gets to the front, totally different. The Wagon, it goes like this, humps over and goes back down around the headlight. This, they continued the Cove and flattened the fender out. Doors are identical, obviously these are 69 doors. Okay, reflectors starting in 68. Okay, because 67 this wouldn't be here, and the word American would be here. And 69 it looks just like this, except it says Rambler. Yeah, the front of the car. The front of the car is where it's shorter, but obviously it's a different shape. Totally. Originally, I wanted to take one of these noses, shorten it, and put it on here, but this one grew on me. Bumpers identical. Bumpers are the same from 64 to 69. Where is it shorter? Interesting, huh? It is shorter from here. I think here is where they did it. So they lengthened the front of the car 3 inches, 3.5 inches. I don't remember the exact number to fit the modern day 6-cylinder there. Didn't fit in 64. 65 has a different radiator support to alter it. Then after that, they just knew it was coming and they just lengthened the car. Now look at the overhang from the bumper. It's a wheel over. Obviously mine's shorter because I moved it, but if I move this one forward 4 inches, it would still be back here. This here's 4 inches. Okay? The one thing I don't like about this year is I think the nose kind of balanced but off balanced. AMC lengthened the fronts of their cars to compensate for the motor change. They even did that in the Jeep. Well, depending on what Jeep it was. The Postal Jeep, you see it sticking out the front. In 72, they lengthened it right here. And if you look on the back side of the Fender, you can still see the original stamping where it ends. And then they continued it, and that's when they put the plate on the side. Regular fender well, regular fender well. But this one comes out as a crisp edge, sharp, then a crisp edge. This one doesn't. There's nothing to be working on. This one comes out and it's rounded over. Back of the car, we talked about the other side. This one has a lip. This one has the fender lip like a AMX. I'm not going to say 69 Camaro. I refuse to say that. It's more like an early 60s Vet. Because 69 Camaro, I don't think dips back in. I think it goes flat, just like an AMX. An AMX comes flat. It doesn't go back in. And that rib goes around the whole entire car. If you never noticed it before. Station wagon taillights are all on their own. They wrap around, which I think is much nicer than the 64 normal light. Those are 65 lights. I do have 64 lights. I never put them in. I come across NOS lights and lenses for 65. They are different. The ribbing is different. These ribs match these ribs. In 64, it's a flat lens and it just has one line around it. But the chrome is thicker, so the lens is smaller. Same size hole. Well, same size outer hole that it mounts into. And I had found a set later on, but I like those better. I think they match the car better, so I never swapped them out. So, those are the differences from when they first introduced the body style to the end. Because the 69 looks just like that. The reason they did that with the sail panel was a couple of reasons. One, safety. Two, flex. By that time, the 8-cylinders were already in these things. They started in 66. And early 68 cars have the short subframe. Late 68 cars, the subframe was all the way to the back. So the unibody in the back and unibody in the front are connected. This is an early car. This was made in November 67. Okay? The car that I took apart for those doors was the 69 and had those additional frame rails. Except the problem with the car is the car laid in the field too long. And went from a car with a little bit of body rust went to a car that had no floor in it whatsoever and just a rubber mat. Gave you the illusion it's a floor. So I was going to cut them out and save them. Yeah, so 67 would have a wraparound rear window. It would actually wrap around to this. That's what this rib is for. The windshield would wrap around just like this one does, and then curve when you tip the back one would wrap around. Some other quick differences. These cars are both 220s. 220. This car doesn't say 220 on it, but it's a 220. 220s are the lowest of the line. This year it was 220, 330, and 440. This year it was 220 and 440. They dropped to 330. The model before this, they had 300s and 400s and deluxes and super deluxes. They got away from all that. Okay? This car's not supposed to have a chrome gas cap. I have the original cap, painted, whatever. This, when you got the 440, it came with an insert that with you. Just think of a scrambler. And you had a chrome cap to match. Okay, so 220s, the rear windows do not go down. These windows, when I put this car together, these windows do not go down in the back, just like a 220 should be. Okay, 220s, no trim. They have to put trim here because they put the car together here. No trim in the back. No trim. Okay. When these things got a year or two newer, this trim got to be about that wide and tapered in. Why they did that, I'm not sure. Okay, what else is different? Depending on what year it is, either it had lower trim, or if you look at the way these are shaped, right? Oops, if you look at the way these are shaped, that's meant for a piece of molding to go from that light to that light. That was 68, 69, they lowered it down. Well, that's what was also the Rambler. Okay, 220s. Plain Jane interior, rubber mat floor, no lock on the glove box, No cigarette lighter. See straight through there? There's a plug. No cigarette lighter. Okay. Came with a dash pad this year. That was mandatory. Came with a side view mirror this year, mandatory. This car did not. This car is a 220. It's got no side view mirror. That's the way it's supposed to be. There's no reverse lights. That's the way it's supposed to be. The only option on this car is the automatic transmission. There's no cigarette light. It just has the button for me to press to turn the magneto off. No lock. And this is actually the wrong tab. That's from a 66. I put that in there. That steering wheel is also a 65. This is the original interior to this car. This back seat's folded down. Never redone, never nothing. I mean, it's not 100% mint, but there's no rips in it. But you can see some of the grays worn out of the black from them sitting in it. And I think that was from the seat cover that was on it all those years. 220s do not have ashtrays, armrests. They have nothing in the back at all. Nothing. I think of it this way: the less stuff it has, the less stuff you got to restore. Look at that. There's nothing back there. You got back there. You sweat. You choked on everybody's cigarette smoke. It was everything. This did not go down. And it's funny when you take this apart, as I did on the one behind me. You take it apart. Basically, what they do is they push the window up, and they put like 2 screws in it. Done. And all the bolt holes and everything in there to put regulators in. And on the back sides of the door panels, you could see where the cardboard or whatever that masonite stuff is punched. And you'd punch it through and go through the door panel. I'm trying to think what else the differences are. I think that's about it. Well, I know it has to do with also dashboard color. 220 this year, the dashboards were satin black. This year, they all got dash pads. That dash pad is rarer than both the cars. In normal condition like that. Not one crack in it. Not even faded, not even cracked. But has windshield molding in the front. Just like that one has windshield molding in the front. They didn't come any other way. Those door gaps are factory. We went through that once before. That is the lower line steering wheel. The upper line steering wheel would have been the same as an AMX, but with a different center cap. You know, different thing. It's not a center cap. It's a different tri-bar. They all came with a temperature gauge, and they all came with fuel gauge and speedometer and heat. So, like I said, this one has the optional 8-track player on the floor. And that's about it. Like I said, this thing purrs. This thing's running. I just started this thing right before the video. Pulled it out. So we're taking this thing home. So I'm trying to think what else the differences are. Well, I guess that's about it. That's all that really matters. Oh, 440 would have had a roof rack. Big difference. Would have had a roof rack and would have had strips on here. So I'm glad it did not. I'm glad it did not, because that's one more thing I would never been able to find. It would have been like Junior's car, you know, that nightmare. But hey, you know, I found one for Junior's car. How long did it take? So, and things like this are all normal. You know, you guys know I'm a purist. This curve and this curve don't match, and it's not because it's different years. This is from a 69 also. The quarter panels are the same right up to where the fender ball lip goes. Because those are the front half quarter panels from the 69 and 69 door, same car. So, it doesn't match on this car. I don't think it matches on my other car either. Oh, look at that. Well, what do you know? Never been hit. There you go. That's a different radius than this. So, I mean, these doors will stand right before those doors. This one's a little better, and I'm sure on my left side of my other car, that one's probably a little better. Yeah, that one's a little better. So, okay guys, we're out here. And if anybody that asks me about the skinny tires, I've been asked so many times, how does the car ride with the skinnies? That tire is there. How's it ride? How's it ride? That tire is almost identical to the factory size tire. So, just the back ones are a little bigger and set in. So, okay guys.